So I'm out having dinner with my girl, and I want y'all to just notice something. There's women, all eating there. Women, all eating there. Women. And let's not forget right there too, because they're everywhere. Oh my God. I don't normally go out, but when I do, I go out with my girls, and I am seeing something, a trend. Girls are all going out with their girlfriends. There's not like one date.
Do single men actually go to church on their own, by themselves? Because people tell me all the time, you should go find a good, godly man at church. Do you know how hard that is to find? I just went to church this morning, and it's a pretty good sized church. And I just decided for science to look around and just see, is there any single men by themselves? Because I never, no matter what church I go to, no matter what denomination, I almost never see single men by themselves going to church. I looked around, I counted like 15 to 20 women who looked like they were by themselves. Or there was a couple other women who looked like it was just them and one other woman. If I counted them, it was like 25 women. I saw one man who was there by himself. But that one man actually gave me hope for a few minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Again, not because I wanted to like meet him or talk to him, but because I was like, hey, some men do go to church like on their own. It wasn't 2 minutes later after I noticed that a woman came up and sat next to him and held his hand. I was like, just kidding. I looked around on the stage. There was multiple men up there on stage. Between the pastors and the singers, every one of them had a ring on. So you tell me, there's tons and tons of single women there. Although I don't really know their relationship status, there's tons of women there on their own. Not a single man that I could find anywhere in the audience that was by himself. Not one. Do single men go to church? I don't understand it. Help me understand.
She understands perfectly. She just doesn't like the answer. Men are walking away from clubs, bars, and even church singles events because the standards keep climbing while the peace keeps disappearing. When a man chooses a quiet night at home over being judged by a room full of women running through endless checklists, that isn't bitterness. That's self-preservation.
I'm gonna be honest, and this is for the women that complain about, oh, men don't approach me anymore, men don't want to go out anymore, the clubs are empty, the bars are empty. The truth is, men were never really interested in going out. And judging by, women saying that the bars are empty, still seems like that's the case. The only reason why we did that was to court women and to talk to women. But like with the modern women in 2025, it ain't worth going out no more. And I'm not saying like you can't go out, and chop it up with your boys once in a while. But in terms of going out to pursue women, like it's not worth it anymore. And if you think I'm lying, just take a look at your guy friends. I bet you their lives are mad simple and they could like go 6 months without even going to the club or to the bar or like to anywhere. They could just chill, hibernate in the crib and just chill. Because the reality is like a man doesn't really need much to survive.
This is the accountability piece nobody wants to confront. Modern dating culture convinced women that men would keep chasing regardless of how high the expectations or disrespect became. But men eventually do the math. When the effort stopped being worth the return, they simply walked away. Now some are realizing that men can be perfectly content living low-maintenance, peaceful lives. And when men stop participating, the entire dating scene starts feeling a lot quieter.
I just seen a video of a woman talking about how she went to the club and all she was seeing was women there and that there was pretty much no men. And based on the things that I've been consuming this year as far as content, I think men are also realizing that, for one, they keep getting a lot of fucking shit for just hitting on women at the club. And two, there's almost literally no benefit for men to be at the club because, for one, women don't even want to get hit on. So that's the main reason why guys are there. They're not going to be there to just hang out. And two, obviously, we gotta fucking pop bottles, spend all this unnecessary amount of money, show out, get drunk, which doesn't do nothing for us the following day, and then probably fucks up our whole week. So I think a lot of guys are just waking up and realizing like there really is no benefit for us to go out to the club. A lot of men are starting to turn into real hobbies and to meet women, like running, joining clubs, maybe doing like daytime activities, because going to the club is just fucking played out. Like, personally, I never believed in getting a section and paying for bottles and just popping that shit with your boys, shit. Like, I don't know, that shit's just so lame to me. But now guys actually want to join or be part of a community where they feel like a lot more valued and appreciated than going to the fucking clubs where girls are constantly dragging them through the fucking, content and comments and shit.
Look at the root of what it's saying about respect. Men didn't stop being social. They stopped showing up in places where they felt disrespected, judged, or valued mainly for what they could spend. After years of men seeing ordinary approaches turned into jokes and social media content, many simply adapted. Now the club scene is struggling because more men are deciding that their peace, dignity, and money are worth more than an overpriced drink and a night of unnecessary drama.
There is literally a creator that's going viral for talking about the epidemic around men not showing up for dating events. And it's so crazy because I've been noticing this phenomenon over the past couple of years, and many women are struggling to understand that this is the core issue with dating. The men are struggling to be vulnerable.
What the fuck does vulnerable got to do with us not showing up in dating settings or dating events? How about they just don't want to show the fuck up? How about that, ladies? Maybe they just don't want to fucking show up.
And it puts women in a place where they're often concerned about not being good enough, when in reality, you're too good. And the men are struggling. Men are truly pusillanimous. Listen to me. It's giving pussy.
So, since you showed up, I think it should be enough, right? Since you look like a man.
Meow. I'm trying to tell you something. And you should probably go find that video and take a look at it, because it's a whole experiment. We're noticing that the men are truly struggling to show up when it requires them to be authentic and actually invest real time. And to be honest, I don't think a lot of them have the interpersonal skills or the social skills to be able to navigate being vulnerable and giving it your best and being authentic.
Me personally, I would never go to a dating event. Why? Why?
There is when there's no means to perform with, like we're past the whole red pill thing. Like you have to truly be yourself. This is not even a dating show. Like you gotta dead ass be who you are and you give it your best.
And we're telling you women, we don't give a fuck to show up. How is this hard to understand? Is this hard to understand?
Look at how quickly the narrative changes when men decide to step away. Instead of asking why these events no longer appeal to men, the conversation often turns into labeling them as broken, insecure, or socially incapable. But that misses the bigger picture. A lot of men aren't afraid of vulnerability. They are simply avoiding environments where they feel judged, recorded, ridiculed, or treated like entertainment for making a genuine attempt. When the risk feels higher than the reward, walking away can seem like the smarter choice.
Okay, hear me out, but I think there's a slight ratio problem in the clubs that needs to be addressed, or someone just needs to talk about it. I was at Amber Room last night. I haven't been there in like a year. Love that place, but I'm rolling in 5 girls deep with my homegirls, right? I take a look around and there are no men in there. It is just women. I think I counted like 4 dudes in the whole spot, and it was 12:30 at night. Like, that's crazy. And I fully understand it's promoters' responsibility to bring pretty girls to the clubs, whatever, but like, I don't know, like I don't really want to go out when it's only girls. Like I didn't sign up for ladies' night. Like where are the men low key? Like there's so many spaces that I think should be women dominated, but I just don't think the club needs to be one of them. And I just don't think it's a crime to want to have like a mixed gender space in there. So perhaps there's something to be said in terms of reducing the barrier of entry for men at the clubs. Like I just think maybe $200 to get in is slightly excessive. I am not saying that they should get a table for free like the girls. No. But like we gotta make the ratio just a bit more balanced in there. Like it shouldn't be 28 girls to 1 man in the club, because it's hordes of like beautiful women, but like what am I supposed to look at? I don't know. Like it's a social public space, and it's currently set up in a way that the men that are actually coming in either have connections or they have the money to pay for a table or the entry fee or whatever it is, which is fine. But we're reducing the numbers to a point where I'm going to the club and it's looking like an Ariana Grande concert. Like there's something that has to give there. And I understand we need to still maintain some level of exclusivity, right? But if girls are being brought into the club based on how they look, and you have to look a certain way and dress a certain way, maybe the answer is then we like lower the fee for men so more men get in, but then we also make them adhere to that same level of exclusivity in terms of how they look.
Notice how the math only starts making sense to them when their own fun gets ruined. For years, clubs charged men steep cover fees and inflated drink prices while letting women in free. And nobody cared because guys were willing to pay to socialize. Snorts. Now that men calculated the actual cost and decided to spend the money elsewhere, suddenly women are calling for reduced barrier of entry so they can have male attention again.
Here's the thing. Girls love to complain about guys not making the first move anymore. Like anywhere. Like whether it's on an app, like whether it's on Hinge, whether it's on Raya, whether it's on Layla, whether it's in the grocery store, no matter what, it's like guys just aren't approaching girls like they used to, allegedly. But like anytime a guy will actually put himself out there, they're getting ridiculed. Like even my sister's friend group, one of them came across this guy on this app Layla where like he had put paint and sip as the first date that he wanted to go on, which is like the whole point of the app, to suggest something. I think it's cute and interesting and different. They were dragging this man through the mud. Oh my god. Like it's the most ridiculous thing in the world that he was putting himself out there saying that he wanted to do a paint and sip with these girls. Of course they don't want to talk to you. They're afraid. If I was a guy, I'd be afraid to approach a girl. I'd be afraid to suggest something cutesy and different because that's what's happening. And you're mad every guy wants to go to a bar and get one drink like 5 minutes from his apartment. Hello? I'm not saying you have to give your phone number to every single guy who asks. I'm just saying like, wow, we gotta tone it down a little bit, I think.
She accidentally exposed the exact hypocrisy men have been pointing out for years. People complain that men don't make the first move anymore, but the moment a guy tries something creative, like suggesting a paint and sip date, he can end up getting roasted by the entire group chat. When men see that genuine effort can turn into public jokes and criticism, it makes sense that they start keeping things simple. A quick drink nearby isn't necessarily fair. It can be a calculated way to protect your time, money, and peace.
Pandering pastors, single women run the church. Men don't want to be spiritual, or men don't want to be under the authority of God. That's not necessarily it. Some do want to do it and some don't. The ones that do want this to be a part of their life can't be in the majority of churches because they won't stand for the pastor who's not willing to give the whole truth about what the word of God says about women and family and men and order. Pastors leave out all kinds of stuff. These pastors know that single women would gawk at what the Bible actually says about women and what the Bible actually says about order and what the Bible actually says about punishment and what the Bible actually says about authority and what the Bible actually says about obedience, not just in relationship, but just in general. These pastors know that single women would gawk at what the Bible actually says in its entirety. So they leave it out and men won't stand for it. So the pastors will accommodate and compromise, and men don't respect that. And they're not sitting for that. The issue is that there are way more Christian pastors who will pander and accommodate and twist up what they call the word of God to pander to a human woman. And that's what men don't respect.
This right here is the part nobody wants to confront. Some churches tried so hard to attract female attendance that they gradually lost the balance that once made those spaces welcoming to men too. Then they turn around and ask, where are the good men? Without considering whether their messaging and culture push some of those men away, and the pattern goes beyond churches. Men are being told to back off, while dating spaces became increasingly expensive, performative, and judgment-heavy. So a lot of men simply adjusted. Instead of chasing attention, they stayed home, focused on hobbies, fitness, work, and building a peaceful life. Men didn't disappear. They changed where they invest their time and energy. When the cost of participation starts feeling higher than the reward, people eventually stop showing up. And now that some of these social spaces are quieter, everyone wants to know where the men went. The answer is simple. Many of them followed the advice they were given and found peace somewhere else. If you appreciate the raw truth and real discussion, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.